My name is Adesh Khandre, and I'm the head of IT audits and ops audits in Americas, and also the audits that we do out of Latin America in our Societe Generale Americas audit team. And I'm also the chief innovation officer for our audit department in the America. So I joined SG more than 3.5 years back, and prior to that, I was with Goldman Sachs for 12 years, all throughout in the audit department. So, just people on the phone, just a small introduction of our firm. So, we are a global financial services firm with more than 150 years of history behind us. And there are three primary businesses that we support. There's a French retail banking, the international retail banking, as well as the wholesale banking activities that focuses on the corporate and investment banking. So out here in Americas, we actually primarily focus on the wholesale banking activities with some flavors of international banking in terms of the equipment financing as well as the vehicle leasing businesses that we have out here in the Latin America region. So in terms of the audit department, considering the focus that we have for today's talk, our internal audit department in Societe Generale Global, we are about 1,000 auditors. And, considering it's a French firm, we also have the inspection part of the audit. So it's an internal audit and the inspection department. So it's a massive organization in terms of the number of auditors globally. Out here in Americas, we have about 75 auditors, and with the teams focused on different aspects that we cover front to back. So in a presentation, just so you'll have to bear at looking at me for the entire duration, because unfortunately we couldn't share the presentation due to some compliance restrictions, but I promise I'll try to make it interesting. So, in terms of our journey with Nine, right? I wanted to just go through where the journey began and what we did before and what we're doing now. So we were already using data analytics tools such as Spotfire for analytics. We used a lot of Python and R, and of course, we were the heavy users of Excel, and we continue to be before our journey with a codeless platform like Nine began. So one of the main objectives that we had, and starting with the Americas region, was to actually equip our business auditors with some data analytics tools that they can use without the help of the data or the IT auditors, right? Because we do have a dedicated data analytics team, and we do have the IT auditors who were used to using some of the technology tools before. But barring some of the exceptions, most of the business auditors, they were very proficient with the Excel, and very heavy users of Excel. And so we did use data analytics, but then it was the focus was more on the sample based testing. So the main objective was to equip them with a tool that they can use without the help, as I said, and something that they can do as a codeless platform. So we started using. So in my role as a chief innovation officer out in end of 2017 to early 2018, we started using Alteryx as a platform, which wasn't free. And we'll get to how the journey with Nime started based on that one concept. But we started with Alteryx. We automated certain manual processes, such as we used to do a lot of user access testing, right? And for those of you from audit on the call, you know that user access testing or identity and access management is such a integral part of the audit testing that we do, and it's very repetitive. So we implemented some of those workflows in Alteryx. We also did some of the reporting processes which were extremely manual before, using the data from multiple systems, doing some joins and doing some basic analytics. So we did all that, and it was a proof of concept, which certainly worked. But then when it came to institutionalize this process across audit, we couldn't really justify the cost with the $5,000 per license fee. And then we started looking at what else is out there. and we stumbled upon NIME. I'm so glad that we did that. So essentially, we onboarded with NIME around 2019. So that's when our journey with NIME began. But we did have this background of using a tool like Alteryx in 2018. So when we started with NIME in 2019, the first thing was to prepare a team, set up a team here in Americas with maybe 3 or 4 people who become proficient with NIME. So we started attending some of the things like 2019. There was a NIME summit. So one of my team members actually attended the NIME summit. Back when we could attend the NIME summits in person. So and we brought in a lot of ideas on how NIME can be used in multiple use cases that we had, and then we really started from scratch. We started building some of the basic NIME workflows, and I think as Jesse also previously mentioned, we wanted to start with some small examples that we can show to our heavy Excel users that this is how you can convert whatever you are doing in Excel in NIME. And it is a repetitive thing. So next time that you want to do it, the all you have to choose is the starting input node, where you point to a new file, and then all the other workflow is repeatable. So we created those small workflows. We created a NIME awareness program. We ran some of our own internal training sessions. First starting with the US teams, and then later on we started expanding those road shows across the different regions for the SOCGen audit team. And then later on, we realized that as authorities started looking at, okay, how did you guys do this? How did you test for the entire population? And they started hearing about some of the things we are doing. So we also tried to positively influence the auditees that we had, and carried some of the demo sessions with them. So the way we really looked at this is we had to put together a roadmap, right? Because we could see that in NIME there are thousands of nodes, and clearly, if we put all of these in front of our auditors, it can get really confusing. So we created a roadmap as to, okay, what are our key objectives, right, when it comes to usage of NIME. So first and foremost, my main objective was to ramp up data analytics use cases on our audits. So we were not bad, but then certainly the percentage of audits where we use data analytics could have improved, and so that was one of the key objectives. The other objective was the end-to-end testing. Okay, so as you know, for those of you out here in US, and I know in Europe, ECB is catching up as well. There is a lot of focus from regulators on how audit performs end-to-end testing, how audit performs full population testing, right? So those were the key objectives that we had, which we put together in the roadmap. And then, of course, we as auditors receive a lot of unstructured data, and that we want to analyze to derive some patterns. So the unstructured data analytics was one of the objectives as well. And also not only focused on audits, but then we also do continuous monitoring, right? And as part of the continuous monitoring, we wanted to move towards the quantitative aspects of continuous monitoring, where we receive a lot of data sets, and then we analyze them on a more repetitive manner. So we implement some of the workflows for the continuous monitoring as well. And last but not the least, the robotic process automation. So this was one of my key areas when I started my journey as the Chief Innovation Officer here, wherein we could see that there were a lot of mundane and manual processes which we were doing, both in audits as well as the reporting processes. And some of those could be implemented in an automated fashion, which we did in Python. We tried to use that technology, but we were only limited with the people who knew how to code in those languages. So that's where I think we wanted to also have a platform like Nime, and I'll get into one of the use cases later where we use robotic process automation within Nime. So in terms of the achievements that we have had so far within the audit department using Nime, which again, as I said before, the journey started in US, but now it has become a tool that is used globally across the business as well as the IT audits and the some of the reporting tasks that we do out of our chief of staff office. So we have onboarded Naim and implemented a lot of workflows which are focused around some of the aspects I already mentioned: continuous monitoring, the audits, and within audits, some of the key use cases where we could straight away use Naim, where in the IT general control testing, which are anyway the types of testing that we do on a more regular basis. We also looked at how we can use it in some of the financial crime related audits that we do, covering the KYC, OFAC sanctions, and screening, because we could see that globally there was a lot of synergy in the testing that we do, and there was a lot of repetitive nature to the testing. So many of those flows are now on Nime. And as I mentioned before, the robotic process automation, one of the key use cases that we did, just to put things into perspective. So for those of you who have used Selenium in the past using Python, I'm happy to inform that Selenium is also supported on Nime. So we had a very interesting use case wherein we had about 8,000 tax forms. Okay, and those were some of them were very badly scanned, and some of them were something that you can do the OCR scanning on. Or actually something that you can copy paste the reference ID. So the use case for auditors was to go through those tax forms and then pick up the reference IDs. So there were two reference IDs, and they were very structured documents. But pick up the reference IDs, go to a particular website, government website, enter the tax ID number, and then hit enter. And then eventually it shows you whether the client is a valid client or not, or if there is any fraudulent with respect to somebody giving us tax forms with manipulated IDs. So that was a task, as part of a broader audit that we wanted to do. Clearly we couldn't expect an auditor to go through those documents, 8,000 documents, one at a time, entering it, confirming. And not only that, we also wanted to extract some information that you get after you hit enter, and you get the result. So we embedded the Python code within Nime. Within Nime, yeah, not only it's a codeless platform, but if you know how to code, you can actually be very impactful. So we embedded Python code to do the OCR scanning, extract the IDs, and then we use bunch of Selenium nodes, wherein we implemented robotic process automation to launch the website, put in the IDs, enter the button, get the results, and at the end it produces an Excel file showing these are the who may not be valid clients, or if there are valid clients, this is the information that you needed, and all happening in the background. That's the beauty of Selenium, where I could just minimize my Nime workflow, and then the Chrome that it opens, and then it just runs in the background, so you're not busy while it's running. So that was a very interesting use case, and very similar to this, we have implemented in a lot of the reporting processes within Nime. But in terms of the audit, we certainly have already reaped the benefits from the identity access management testing that I mentioned before, which are very useful, and it saves a lot of time on our ongoing missions, because all we have to do is pass new set of data to it. So in terms of just wrapping up how we ramped up our investment within the audit department, we created that community wherein we started small, then we started doing the demo sessions. We did a lot of the road shows, as I mentioned before. We created some basic workflows that we shared. We still don't have Nime server, and we're using different ways in which we collaborate on Nime, but we are certainly thinking about that. But then we have created, let's say, a community where we put in all these different examples so that people can go back and refer to. We created some of the cheat sheets. We leveraged the cheat sheets that we had, but then we added some specific ones that we use for Nime for within audit. And also we leveraged this PDF that Nime has, which is from Excel to Nime. So for those of you on the call who are thinking about switching to Nime and who are already heavy users of Nime, I would highly encourage you to look at the PDF which is available on Nime resources from Excel to Nime. And there was actually one for Alteryx to Nime, which applied to us, but maybe not many of you on the phone. But use that to give it to your business folks who don't know how to code and who may be hesitant to try this out. But ask them to start small and refer to this document. So that's the overall journey. Again, I'm sorry I couldn't show you the presentation which we had prepared due to some of the restrictions, but I'm happy to answer any questions anybody has, and I'm looking forward to the panel discussion later.
Adesh, thank you for such a thorough discussion. That was really engaging. No visual aids, doesn't matter. Such a profound story. We're going to go back to Constance now with Anna to get some questions answered.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Adesh. We have quite a few questions here. The first one is a little bit about Python and Nime. So there are many useful Python libraries that can be integrated with Nime as well. And people want to know, in your audit function, do you promote the use of coding? Or do you offer trainings and code review, like workflow review or specific code review?
Absolutely. So, starting with myself, so I come from technology background, and to this date, I still code, right? So there is a huge push on coding within Nime, where we do promote learning. And so there's a lot of continued education. So we use platforms like Pluralsight. It's like Coursera, but it's designed specifically for some of the technology topics. So we give licenses for Pluralsight for those of us who want to learn Python, who want to learn R. So yes, we do promote a lot of technology usage within audit. And when we do the audits, we also do code reviews, because I think that's when we actually do find some of the blind spots that couldn't be found if we didn't do the code review. So yeah, when it comes to Nime, what we did tell people who already coded is they can be even more powerful if they continue to use those Python examples that they already had and embed that within Nime for the end-to-end flow.
Perfect, thank you. Another question that came up a little bit is if you could talk a little bit more about how do you use Nime for robotic process automation. I think that's a very interesting topic for the audience as well.
Absolutely. So imagine a use case where you do have 3 places that you go to get the Excel extract, right? So we have a use case where we have our own reporting website where we log in, using an ID. Then you go to a particular place and then you click on that and you say extract and then you give it a name. And you do this, let's say, every day or every once every week, and then you do this multiple times for different sources. All this time, you're not really using your brain, right? You're going through those manual mundane steps, and then you're getting the data, saving it somewhere, and then And then you are, let's say in the past, before you start your KNIME journey, you put them, copy paste it in Excel, do some VLOOKUPs. So imagine this use case, and then think, okay, how I can automate that. So what we ended up doing was we use Selenium nodes, as I mentioned before. So Selenium is a way you can automate desktop user actions. So every click that you do, right click or left click, select something on the screen, you can actually automate within Selenium. And within KNIME, there is a support for Selenium. It's not free. There's a license fee, I think about 300 euros per year, but it's totally worth it. So that's how we use robotic process automation to get the data, extract from multiple systems, put it somewhere, use it as an input into the workflow, and then it's all click of button. Once it's set, you don't need to go through those steps manually again.
Thank you so much. That's great. Yeah.